Today I'm going to talk about one of the reasons your weight loss New Year's resolution may fail, and that is due to friends, family, and even coworkers sometimes sabotaging or trying to sabotage your weight loss efforts. Now, it's already hard for us to lose weight over 50, so unsupportive people who are trying to sabotage you only make it harder. So today I'm going to share with you the main reasons why people do it, and I'm also going to give you some solutions about what you can do about it. If you're new here, my name is Suzanne and I am 52 years old. About 2 years ago, I could not lose weight no matter what I did. At 175 pounds, I decided that I needed to make a change, and so I embarked on a ketogenic low-carb lifestyle. And over those past 2 years, because of that, I've been able to lose 45 pounds. And over that time, I've had to deal with my share of weight loss sabotage attempts. So first, let's talk about all the common reasons why people try to sabotage our weight loss efforts. The first reason is because when you are close to somebody, whether it's a family member that you live with or it's a friend that you spend a lot of time with, the reality is that anytime you make a change, it's going to require the other person to make a change as well. There are several different ways that this takes place. For example, if you have a friend or a family member that is like your quote eating buddy, someone that you go out to eat with on a weekly basis, if you start changing the way that you're eating, obviously that's going to require them to change because they've now lost their eating buddy. And that was something that brought them a lot of joy and pleasure in the past, and you have kind of taken that away from them. Another thing is figuring out how to manage meal times. For example, in my family, I used to cook dinners every night and we would eat the same food every night. So I would cook a pan of lasagna or a bowl of spaghetti, and that's what we would eat. So once I changed over to my new way of eating, my family was not on the same plan I was. So now we had to figure out how I was going to provide dinner for both me and my family. And the way that we did that was I would just cook my own meals separate, and then I would cook them something that they enjoyed. Also, in the beginning, I would still eat some of the foods that they ate, but I would just turn them into a low-carb option. For example, if we had tacos, I would have everything, the meat, the cheese, the vegetables, but I would not eat the taco shell, which was high in carbs. So I would modify in the beginning what I ate, and that made it easier to just cook one meal. Now after 2 years, it's me, my husband, and my youngest daughter, and we all kind of like to eat our own certain things, and so we will all cook our own meals. Another problem is figuring out how to deal with the food budget. So we have a food budget that we go by every month, and we had to figure out how we were going to distribute those funds across the three of us that are living together right now. If you have a really tight or strict budget, it's going to get tougher to be able to make that work. Now, another reason why your family or friends might try to sabotage your weight loss efforts is because without realizing you're doing it, you might be trying to change them too. And maybe they don't want to change. So it's only natural when you are getting really positive results with something that you're doing to want to share it with other people like your family and friends. And that was definitely the case with me. So when I first started on the ketogenic lifestyle, in the first month that I went on it, I actually lost 10 pounds. And so I could just not stop talking about how great this new eating plan was, and I was really pushing and trying to get my family on board with me and to follow it as well. The problem was they really weren't wanting to make that change like I was. They hadn't seen enough to really feel influenced by what I was doing to make it worth it for them. And so after a while, I realized that I needed to stop talking about it so much and pull back just a little so that I could allow them to choose the way that they wanted to eat, just like I wanted them to let me choose the way I wanted to eat. Now, after doing this for 2 years and losing 45 pounds, my husband has changed quite a bit of his diet to be similar to mine, so we do eat a lot of the same foods, but in the beginning, that wasn't the case. Another really common reason why people try to sabotage your weight loss is because of jealousy. It's only natural when we see other people starting to do better than us in certain areas. Not that we are better than them, but they just perceive it like we're doing better than them. It's really hard for people to be happy for you when they know that they're not succeeding in that area as well. And the biggest way that you will know that this is happening is they will start saying negative things about your weight loss. In fact, one of the most common things I hear is people will start saying to you, "Ooh, you're getting too skinny," or "You look sick." One thing that I've realized is when people start shooting out those negative comments, you're probably really starting to get close to your target, meaning you're starting to probably look pretty good, pretty healthy. Definitely you have something that other people are desiring. It's unfortunate that people can't be happy for you and choose to go the other way and be not encouraging, but it's a reality and you have to be ready for it. Another thing that happens is sometimes you'll be at a picnic or a family gathering and a lot of people cook food for those things, and people will come up to you and ask you if you ate their whatever. And you tell them no, you're eating a certain way, and they start trying to push and get you to eat their food. The reason that they're doing this is because their identity is invested in the food that they made. If nobody eats their food, then they interpret that as people didn't like my food, and then they take it very personally. This happened to me at a picnic a couple years ago with a friend. Everyone brought food to the picnic, and my friend had made some really delicious desserts, but I wasn't eating sugar at the time. And when she tried to get me to have a piece of her cake, I said, no, thank you. I'm actually not eating that type of food right now. And then after that, she proceeded to keep bringing it up and asking me, are you sure you don't want a piece of cake? Come on, you can have a piece of cake. And I kept saying, no, no. And finally, when she wouldn't stop, I had to just get up out of my chair and quietly walk away. Another reason why people will try to push food on you is because they believe it is wasteful or wrong to not eat everything on your plate. So a lot of people back from the Depression came up with a food rule that it was wrong or maybe even sinful to not eat everything on your plate, because back then food was very scarce, and so it was considered a very bad thing to not eat everything that you had. And that was passed down through a couple of different generations, and so there are still a few people around who get really upset if you don't eat everything on your plate. In fact, a lot of parents in my generation would tell you that you needed to do that. I personally think that encourages the habit of overeating, and so I never taught that to my children. In fact, one time I was with a friend and we were eating a pizza and there was one slice of pizza left, and my friend said, oh, here, go ahead and eat that piece of pizza. And I said, no, I don't want it. I'm full. Thank you. And they said, oh, no, here you go. And they put it on my plate. So I just simply took that piece of pizza, turned it over, and pushed the plate away. And they didn't say anything after that. Another reason why a family member, especially a spouse, might not want you to lose weight is because they're afraid that if you lose weight and you start to look better, that you may not want to be with them anymore. Maybe because they don't want to change their eating habits. Maybe they don't want to lose weight and they're overweight. And they're worried that if you get into good shape, that means you're not going to love them or want to be with them. And the last one, which is a very sad situation, is sometimes people don't want you to lose weight because when you were overweight, you were very easy to control. Maybe you didn't feel good about yourself. You felt insecure, maybe fearful, and felt like you really needed that relationship. But as you started to lose weight and started feeling better about yourself, it actually kind of changed the kind of person that you were. You weren't insecure anymore. You realized you didn't really need that person as much. And so that person is going to try to control you through you being overweight. It's a very unfortunate situation, but it does happen. All right, so I've given you a couple solutions as I've been talking, but I'm going to give you some additional things that you can do about it when someone is trying to sabotage you. And the first one is, if you're going to go to a company gathering, a family picnic, or some sort of get together, and you know there's going to be a lot of tempting foods there, and so if somebody asks you if you want a piece of cake or a cookie, you know that you're going to feel really tempted and it's going to be hard for you to say no. So one of the things that is really good for that is to make sure you eat something that's within your plan before you go to the party. That way, when you get there, you're not going to be as tempted to eat that thing. You'll also feel more in control. So if you did decide that maybe you just wanted to kind of just like pick at something, maybe just have a tiny taste just to appease someone or make them happy that you know will go away after you do that, then you can choose to do that. Something you can do with a friend who maybe used to be your eating buddy is you can find something else fun to do with them. So for me, one of the things that our family used to do was have a Saturday night dinner together. But now what we do instead is we just eat the foods that we normally eat ourselves, and then we will get together and have a movie night, and we also started doing some scrapbooking while we're watching the movie. And that has turned out to be even more fun together than just eating a meal. If you have a spouse or someone who's really close to you that's feeling insecure about your weight loss, maybe feels like you're not going to love them anymore or want to be with them, you can go ahead and relieve their fears in advance or throughout the process, just to encourage them and let them know, hey, this weight loss goal is for me. It has nothing to do with me wanting to leave or be with anybody else. And then maybe just put in a little extra love and care to that person in other ways so that they start feeling more secure in your love and the relationship. If people are trying to push food on you at gatherings, the broken record technique is really helpful in this situation. Every time they keep trying to ask you to have that item, you just keep saying, no thank you, I've had enough, I'm full, whatever it is you need to say. Go ahead and leave a comment down below about a situation you've been in where someone has tried to sabotage you. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you in the next video.